Well, hey, you guys, welcome back. I'm so glad that you're here today. We are going to make the funnest little project. Now, this is going to make the best little gift card holder, but it's also a great way to gift wrap something. Say you're giving a gift to your postal carrier or your hairstylist or whoever it might be, makes a great teacher gift too. We're going to make these little miniature stockings. They're perfect for gift cards and just little things. Fill them with candies, hot cocoa packet, you name it, we're going to put it in this stocking, and it's just so much fun. So I'm going to show you how to do this perfect little patchwork. And you guys, it's way easier than what you're thinking. I've got a trick for you. You're going to love it. You can get the free pattern. It's on the link below. Like, yep, you heard me right. The pattern is free. So go grab the pattern, come back, watch the video. Let's make this stocking together, and you're going to be making a bunch of these in no time. The video is really quick. It's really simple, easy to follow. You'll be able to make these in 30 minutes or less. Now, to get started, for the front panel for all of the patchwork, you're going to need 36 squares that are 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch. So I like to start by cutting a strip that's 1.5 inches wide and then turn it and then cut a bunch of pieces that are also 1.5 inches. So that makes 1.5 by 1.5. And I will generally cut 3 to 4 of the same print so that I have a nice variety of prints. You want to have at least 5 to 7 different prints in your stocking. I mean, you can do as many as you want. 5 to 7 is just generally what I do. While you're cutting your shapes, I want you to think about fussy cutting if there's anything you want to fussy cut. And that is when you want a specific part of your fabric in the square that you're going to be sewing. So on this next piece that I'm going to cut, I'm going to show you, I want the little girl's face to be centered. So we're going to fussy cut around her, keeping in mind you're going to have a 1/4 inch seam allowance on all 4 sides. So make sure you're cutting it 1.5 by 1.5, but thinking about where those seams may cut off part of the image that you're trying to preserve in the center. Next, once we've cut all the squares, we are going to lay it out on the bumpy side of our fusible interfacing. Make sure your bumpy side is facing up. That's the fusible side. And you're just going to lay this out. You can do this over on your ironing board. It might be easier. These do kind of stick to those bumps a little bit, but I am just simply taking all of these patches that I cut and I am laying them out in whatever order I want. And I will play around with these a little bit until they are exactly how I want them to be. Now, keep in mind too, because this is a stocking, it's not going to take up all of this. So if you want to reference back to the pattern a little bit just to see where the center of your print is going to be, like I know that the top and the edges, those squares probably aren't going to be on the stocking at all, but to make this project easiest, it's best to just build this in a square to start out with. So keep in mind, like I said, that center part, because that's going to be the squares that are the most visible. Once you're happy with your layout, go ahead, take it to your ironing board, and you're going to press the squares into place. You may want to use a pressing sheet to protect your iron surface because we are ironing with the fusible side up, but just keep pressing until everything is secure and in place so that when you pick this up, none of your 1.5 inch squares fall off. These are looking great. So now we're going to go to the ironing board, and you're going to, it doesn't matter which way you start, fold that first row back so your right sides of your fabric are together and stitch using a 1/4 inch seam allowance here. You're always going to back stitch at the beginning and the end and just stitch straight down that row. I'm using a 1/4 inch presser foot, which makes this job a lot easier because I don't even have to line anything up. I just line up the edge where I folded the fabric with the edge of my presser foot. If you don't have a 1/4 inch presser foot, you can certainly use the markings on your needle plate. So continue this process. Just fold over each section going in the same direction until you've sewn all the rows all the way across. So now that we've finished that part up, you can open up your fabric and you can see that they are all sewn together that way. Now, before we sew the other direction, we're going to snip into all of the intersections. Do not snip into your stitching. Snip up to the stitching where all of your fabrics intersect with each other, because that's going to make it, when you fold over the other side, it's going to make it lay better and be much easier. And I do like to take this over to my ironing board, press all the seams, going the same direction once you have cut all your intersections. You can see now once we fold this down the other way, because we're going to sew the other side, you can see how nice this will lay because of those little snips that you just made. So see here how they're all laying down and they're all going the same direction. Now sew the same way we did the first time, except this time you're sewing, the other side. So this is going to make all of the squares be sewn into your edges, and it's going to form your patchwork with perfectly matched up seams and intersections. And it's so easy. And this is a step that make something look more complicated than it really is, because you're not having to physically line and match things up. You're just folding your fabric in half here and you're sewing them together. And you can see the magic when you are all done and you open it up and look at all of your prints. How cute is that, right? Okay, now you can go ahead and just cut out that stocking. Make sure you're using your paper scissors, not your good fabric scissors. Just cut out along the outside edge of the stocking, and we're going to use that as a template. You're going to use that to cut out the front, the back, and the two pieces for the lining. You can make a patchwork back if you would like to, but I did a solid back because, you don't really see the back anyway, but it's totally up to you. And it might depend on where you're going to hang these stockings. Both sides may be visible. And you can lay this whichever way you want the toe facing, right or left. It's totally up to you. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to trace this onto here with a marking pen. Now, this is just an air erasable marking pen. And so the lines will just eventually disappear, or it's this set I'm using here comes with an eraser. That white pen you see that's just laying on my counter, that's an erasing pen. So it'll erase the marks immediately. You can use either one. So we're going to just trace around the edge, and then we're going to cut out this stocking panel. And don't worry, it won't fall apart. It'll be just fine. Once you're done with your front, you can apply the fusible interfacing to the back of the stocking. That way they're both the same weight and thickness. Do the same thing where you trace the stocking template and cut it out. And then you're going to also cut and trace for the two pieces for the lining. I did not use any interfacing on the lining. You could if you want to, but I don't find that it was necessary. Once everything is cut out, you can lay the stocking front and the lining front right sides together. You're going to sew across that top edge. We're going to do the same thing for the back. But on the back piece, you're going to take your ribbon and you're going to fold it in half so that the two ends of the ribbon meet together to form a loop. And then you're just going to pin that in place on the inside. So again, right sides are still together. So on that back left corner is where you're going to put it. I just like to use a pin to secure it in place. Okay, so then lay that on the lining. So your fronts and backs, right sides are together. Just sew right across the top edge on both of these pieces. Once you sew them together, I would press them with your iron, just press them open, then lay them both open side by side like I'm showing you, and then match up your seams. So your linings should be together, your front and back should be together. Match up the seams, attach them together with a pin just to secure it in place. You could use clips here as well, whichever you're more comfortable with. And then we're going to go all the way around the stocking and just pin the fronts and the backs together, just like I'm showing you. Now, I want you to identify what part of the stocking lining is where you're going to want to leave your opening, because we need to leave an opening somewhere for turning. You can do it along the back edge or the bottom edge. Neither of those sides will be visible, and that's going to be one of the two easiest places to turn everything right side out when you get it all sewn together. I'm going to leave the opening along the back edge, and I'm just going to mark with a marking pen. It's more or less as a reminder to me to start and stop sewing in those places. I'm going to leave about 3 inches open. You don't want it to be too tight that you can't work the stocking through that opening. So then go ahead and start again, 1/4 inch seam allowance. We always backstitch at the beginning and the end, even if I don't remind you to. Just it's helpful to get into that habit. So remove the pins as you go, and we're going to just slowly stitch along the outside edge of the stocking, but make sure we're leaving that part open that we indicated on either the bottom or that back side of the stocking lining. You don't want to leave your opening on the stocking on the front because it would be visible. So make sure to go slow around those curves. It may be helpful to leave your needle in the down position, lift up your presser foot a little bit and pivot to make sure you have nice, clean corners. And again, we're going to do that when you get up to this point where it's kind of a sharp 90-degree turn here. So sew in about 1/4 inch past that edge, leave the needle down, turn, and then keep stitching. And again, make sure you are removing those pins as you go along. I always just stop right before I get to the pin and pull that out so that you don't lose your spot. Again, we're going to pivot here and then go slower once you get to these curves. It's just easier to ensure that you're getting around the curve, that you don't end up with any square or, squared off toe edges here. Okay, keep stitching. We're almost down to that end spot where we marked with a marking pen for our stopping point. And you definitely want to make sure you're back stitching there so your stitching doesn't come undone when you're turning everything right side out. All right, so now we are going to take and we're going to clip all of the curves on the stocking front and back and then the lining as well. So clip around the heels and the toes, clip just to the stitching. You don't want to ever clip into the stitching because that will create a hole. If you accidentally clip into the stitching, bring it back to your machine and you're going to have to stitch that back up. And I also clip in this little corner here too. That just helps everything lay flatter and more smoothly when you turn it all right side out. And do this for both the lining and for the outside. Okay, we're going to pull apart this opening gently here. And I like to just use my fingers for this. And I'm reaching in with one hand and kind of pushing with the other. And I'm just going to start pushing it back out through the opening, but you're turning it right side out at the same time. So you want to work it out and use your fingers on the inside to make sure your corners all lay nice and rounded. It might help to use a pressing tool as well if your corners and curves are being a little bit stubborn. Make sure everything is laying nice, that you didn't clip into any seams and have to fix anything. Sometimes that happens and that's okay. We just go on and we fix it and we do what we need to do. So turn the rest of it right side out. Again, making sure everything is where it needs to be. If you need to make any adjustments, you can do that now. But we're turning it all right side out, and then we're going to just fold in those raw edges, and they should just fold down really nicely. You may want to press that edge with your iron. I don't need to, so I'm just going to lay that down under my presser foot, and I'm just going to use a scant 1/8 of an inch here, and I'm just going to sew that opening closed. You're not going to see that because it'll be on the inside of your stocking. Trim off any loose threads if there are any, and your stocking hanger should be on the outside. And we're going to just simply tuck the liner into the stocking. And so make sure you matching up your toe and your heel and you're pressing it all down so it's all laying nice and flat. And then go ahead and press it with an iron. And that's it. You just made the cutest little gift card holder. These could be used as stocking tags, labels, whatever you want them to be. You could fill them with goodies and add it to the present. You could add a cute little name on here somewhere. Just super fun, super easy. They make such a great gift. You'll be able to make a bunch of them in no time. And I just love all the cute little fussy cuts that we did. So fun. All right, wasn't that fun? Wasn't it easier than you thought it would be? I mean, I always thought like these, especially when I see things that are so tiny, like how do people line up those little points and make them so perfect? And then I learned the tricks. I'm like, well, that's a sneaky little trick and I love it. I like anything that makes making something easier, more efficient. It looks way more difficult than it really was, but I cannot wait to see how you use these stockings and I want to see the ones that you make. You can do so many different patchworks here. Like I showed, we did some fussy cutting in there. This line of fabric is an older line by Tosh Noel. I think it's called Pixie Noel. Yeah, that's what it's called. You may still be able to find this on some websites, so I would look around. I just did a solid mushroom on the back, and then my little ribbon, which you can make as long as you want. Now, you could even get really fun and add some things like a pom-pom trim would be really cute around this edge. You could do a cute little cuff. There's so many different things you could do. So if you haven't already, head to the description below, grab my free pattern, and then you can make a bunch of these and use them throughout this holiday season. It's a good time to get started. That way you'll have them all done and ready before Christmas gets here. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the fun tutorials that I have coming up for you. And I've got a bunch loaded and ready, and I cannot wait to share more holiday gifts and different ideas with you guys. So thank you for being here. Thanks for following along, and be sure to join us over on Instagram for even more fun.